So, you know Elon Musk, right? He's got these three massive companies, Tesla, SpaceX, and his new AI venture, xAI. On the surface, they look like three of the biggest, craziest bets in human history. But what if I told you they aren't separate bets at all? What if they're all part of a single, secret master plan? We're going to break down a strategy so ambitious, it could literally reshape our world.
Think about it for a second. What on earth do humanoid robots, giant batteries, and reusable rockets have in common? I mean, really, you've got robots for factories, batteries for cars, and rockets for, well, going to space. It just seems like this totally random collection of super ambitious projects, right? But what if they're not random at all? What if they're all just pieces of a much bigger puzzle?
Well, that's exactly the idea we're diving into today. These aren't three separate companies going their own way. They are the three essential pillars of a single, deeply interconnected strategy. And once you see how they all lock together, it all starts to make this crazy kind of sense.
All right, so where does this whole master plan even begin? Well, it starts right here with pillar number 1, what you could call the robot economy. And the goal? It's about tackling the single biggest cost in, well, everything, human labor. I mean, just stop and think about it. Literally, everything costs what it does because a person, a human being, had to make it or put it together or ship it to you. That phone in your hand, the coffee you drank this morning, the price is all wrapped up in the salaries and time of people. And this basic economic fact? That's what Musk is trying to completely turn on its head.
The endgame for this pillar is something called good deflation. Now, when we hear deflation, we usually think of, economic collapse, which is bad. But this is different. This is about creating a world of pure abundance, where stuff just gets cheaper and cheaper over time. And why? Because that biggest, most expensive ingredient, human labor, is being replaced by robots that just don't get tired.
Okay, let's make this super simple. Take a wooden chair. Right now, you're paying for the person who cut down the tree, the person in the factory who assembled it, and the person who drove the truck to deliver it. But in this future, a robot harvests the wood. A robot assembles the chair, and a robot delivers the chair. So what happens to the final cost? It plummets. You're basically just paying for the raw materials, for the wood itself. That's it. And you can see why this is so compelling for a business. Look at this comparison. A single Optimus robot. It could potentially do the work of several people. It can run for 20+ hours a day, it never quits, it doesn't need breaks or benefits or sick days. From a pure dollars and cents perspective, the advantage is it's just astronomical. There's no comparison.
And this is the really critical part. This quickly stops being about just making more money. It becomes about pure survival. Imagine your biggest competitor automates their entire factory and cuts their prices by 50%. If you don't do the same, you're gone. You're out of business. It's like this massive evolutionary pressure that's going to force everyone to adopt this technology.
Okay, but here's the thing. For a robot economy to work, the robots can't just be dumb machines. They have to be intelligent. And that intelligence, it comes from massive amounts of AI. The race to build that AI has sparked this hidden, global conflict that most people don't even realize is happening. And that brings us to the second pillar of the plan, the energy war. We all think the big AI race is about who's got the most powerful computer chips, right? But as Elon says here, the battle has already shifted. It's not about who has the most GPUs, it's about who can actually turn them on. It's that simple. You can own the most powerful supercomputer in the world, but if you don't have the juice to plug it in, it's just a really, really expensive paperweight. And this is where we hit a massive roadblock. Our electrical grid, it just wasn't designed for the absolutely insane power demands of modern AI. We're talking about data centers that need the power of a small city. So companies are finding that getting approval to just connect to the grid can take years. Years of waiting in line thanks to old infrastructure and red tape. And your AI computer is useless while you wait. So this is where Tesla's real role starts to click into place. They've come up with this brilliant workaround. It's almost like a hack. An AI company, say xAI, can just install a bunch of these giant Tesla Megapack batteries right next to their data center. Then they just sip cheap electricity from the grid at night when no one else wants it and store it up. The next day, when demand is high, they just run their data center off their own batteries. They completely bypass the grid's daytime limits and, more importantly, that years-long waiting list.
So when you boil it all down, the equation is incredibly simple. Cheaper electricity equals cheaper intelligence. That's it. At its core, running an AI is just converting massive amounts of electricity into intelligence.
So if you can get your power cheaper than anyone else, you can train and run your AI for less. And that gives you an unbelievable competitive edge.
But even fixing the grid problem on Earth, that's just the short-term solution. Take a look at this number. It's insane. That's the tiny, tiny fraction of the sun's total energy that actually hits our planet. The rest just flies off into space. Now, as AI keeps growing exponentially, our need for energy is going to be so huge, we could actually outgrow what we can generate here on Earth.
And that brings us to the really big kind of sci-fi endgame. Why are we even limiting ourselves to Earth? The ultimate solution is to build gigantic solar farms up in space, in orbit, where the sun shines 24/7. No clouds, no night. Just unlimited, clean energy beaming down to power the next generation of AI data centers, which could also be in orbit. And, of course, how do you get all that stuff up there? Well, now you see where SpaceX fits into the puzzle. Okay, so we've got the robots to do the work. We've got the energy plan to power their intelligence, but there's one last crucial piece of the puzzle. You could call it the engine that drives this entire thing. It's the one piece that connects it all and makes this whole master plan even possible.
So, what is it? What's the one piece of tech, the real secret sauce, that makes all of this work? The self-driving cars, the humanoid robots, the giant AI data centers. What ties them all together?
It's this: Tesla's custom-designed AI chips. See, almost every other company out there just buys their chips off the shelf from someone like NVIDIA. But Tesla, they design their own, from scratch, in-house. And that, right there, is their single biggest secret weapon.
The best way to think about it is like building a Formula One car. Most teams will buy an engine from, say, Mercedes, and a transmission from someone else, and then they have to kind of Frankenstein them together and hope they work well. But Tesla, they're building the engine and the transmission together at the same time in the same factory. They're designed from day one to be one single, perfectly optimized, seamless system.
And the result of doing it that way? Just pure, mind-bending speed. So you or I, as humans, we take about 250 milliseconds to see something and react. Tesla's AI does it in 1 millisecond. That's not just a little bit faster. We're talking about a reaction time that is literally hundreds of times faster than a human being's.
And that one single advantage, that raw speed, is the key that unlocks the entire plan. A self-driving car needs it to react instantly and avoid an accident. A humanoid robot needs it to see and move fluidly in the real world without falling over. And the AI data centers need it to chew through massive amounts of training data. It's the exact same chip architecture that's powering all three of these pillars.
And that's how the whole thing snaps together. You have the robots that get rid of the cost of labor. You have the energy solution to power the AI brains of those robots. And you have the long-term vision for unlimited energy and computing in space. Robots, energy, and space AI, it's all one giant connected system. And the beating heart of it all? It's Tesla's custom-designed chips.
You know, nobody else on the planet is even attempting to build all three of these pieces at the same time. So the question is, will it actually work? Is this the blueprint for an interconnected empire that completely reshapes our world? Or is it simply the most ambitious and maybe the most expensive failure in all of human history? I guess we'll just have to wait and see.